everybody, it's your girl Shady Lane 2121 coming at you on my job to work with my tip of the day. Today's tip of the day is going to be about, let me think. I wrote down a bunch of things, but I can't decide which one I wanted to do today. It's going to be about macros. I get a lot of questions about, Amber, what are macros? What the hell are you talking about when you say eat within your macros, find out what your macros are? Macros are basically a fancy way of saying protein, carbs, and fat. Once you figure out how many calories your body needs a day, then you need to break that down into what macros you need every day in order to hit your goals, whether that be gaining weight or whether that be losing weight. So you find out what your BMR is, and you can Google a BMR calculator online. You find out what your BMR is. That's going to tell you what your bare minimum calories should be for your body to keep you alive if you were just laying on the couch doing nothing all day. So once you find out what your BMR is, that's the number you don't want to go under. If you go under your BMR, your body will start to go into starvation mode because it's just not enough energy to pull from for all your daily functions of just breathing, living, your brain functioning. So you don't want to go under your BMR. There are instances where you may go under your BMR if you're training for a competition. Maybe it's a short period of time, but you never want to go under your BMR for a long period of time. So after you find out your BMR, it will ask you for multipliers, activity multipliers, which what that is it's going to ask you basically, are you sedentary? Do you work out 2 days a week? Do you work out 3 to 5 days a week? Do you work out strenuous 6 days a week? It'll give you options to choose from. You'll pick that multiplier, and depending on what the calculator is, it might do it for you. And then it will give you what your maintenance calories or macros is for the day to maintain your current weight. Okay? So, for me, last time I checked, I think it was last week, my maintenance for my macros should be around 2,300 calories a day. So right now I'm eating under my maintenance, which I'm eating at 2,000 calories a day. And again, I'm in the first week of my contest prep for July. So right now I'm at 2,000 calories, which means I'm around 300 and some change under my maintenance for the day. Because I want to lean down, but not too quick yet. Now, if you have a lot to lose, you can drop your deficit to like 500. They say in between 300 to 500 or 1 to 2 pounds a week is a safe amount of weight loss. However, with people that are morbidly obese or very, very heavy, they tend to drop weight quicker once they start a diet plan or a change of life, because obviously they're changing their nutrition and their body has a lot more fat to get rid of, a lot more storage. So don't be alarmed if you're morbidly obese or if you're very heavy. You'll probably lose more than the 1 to 2 pounds. You probably lose around 5 or 6 pounds. So anyways, yeah. So if you want to lose weight, subtract 300 to 500 calories per day, and that's your macros. If you want to gain weight, then you're going to go the opposite direction. You're going to add 300 to 500 calories a day. Now, when you're adding calories, you have to make sure that if you're going to be bulking and trying to add muscle, that you're not adding a whole bunch of fat. I mean, you can do it that way if you want to. You can just go all out and eat whatever you want and not worry about it and then cut later. But you're going to have a lot more fat to deal with. So if you're trying to add muscle and bulk up, like during your off season, or if you're one of those people that are really skinny and can't seem to hold on to weight, start slow, increase by like 300 to 500. I would say start low. Start at about 300 above your maintenance, and monitor your progress every week, every 2 weeks. Get your body fat checked to make sure that you're gaining lean muscle mass and not just you're just putting on a lot of fat. Okay? So once you've done all that, then you've got to find out what your macros are. That means how much fat are you going to eat, how much protein are you going to eat, how many carbohydrates are you eating, how are you going to split that up with your calories. The easiest way, well, I wouldn't say the easiest way, because it's going to depend on your body type and what your goals are. So obviously for me, my goal right now is to lean out and hold on to as much lean muscle mass as I possibly can. So for me, I try to eat at least 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of lean body weight. Right now, I'm actually towards 1.5. When you go into a cut, you want to make sure you have a lot of protein because it's muscle sparing, and especially when you're working out strenuous, you want that protein because you want to lose the least bit of muscle that you can during this process. So that's why my protein is so high. Carbohydrates, I keep my this prep I'm doing differently. So I'm keeping my carbohydrates higher in the beginning. I want to keep my calories as high as I can for as long as I can. So for me, my carbohydrates right now are around 200. Keeping around 190 to 200. And then my fats, I'm keeping at around 40%. And I think the ratio is almost like a 20-40-40. 20% fat, 40% protein, 40% carb around there. But for me, I just kind of researched it, looked back on my logs, look at the mirror, and I gauge what I need to do with my macros. Carbs keep my muscles fuller. They obviously give me more energy to get through my workouts. But with carbs, I tend to hold more water. And that's okay because during the last bit of my prep, you know, I'll start to deplete maybe, and I'll lose some of that water right before the show. But for most people, you're going to want to find out what works for you. You're going to have to tweak it a little bit. You can start with the 40-40-20, which is a pretty common ratio of macros. And just look in the mirror and see how you feel with it. See how your body's responding. Some people are, you know, very sensitive to carbs and they need to drop their carbs. So you just have to play with it and see what's going to work for your body. Also, when I say, well, I'll do that in another video. We'll just stick to strict macros. A lot of people also worry about their micros, like their sodium, their sugar, the vitamins, A, D, all that stuff. Right now, I don't worry about it too much, but I will here in the next probably couple of weeks. I will just be mainly looking at my sodium and my sugar and dropping my sugar. I still salt my foods, not that much, but I still salt my foods. Use Mrs. Dash. So people that have high cholesterol or high blood sugar, you know, diabetic, stuff like that, high blood pressure, then you're definitely going to want to watch your micros. You're going to watch your sugars. You're going to watch your sodium. You're going to watch your cholesterol intake. Those are all things that you're going to watch depending on what, you know, what's going on with your health as well. So basically, again, macros is just basically a fancy way of saying your calories and how you're going to break down your calories, your carbohydrates, your fats, your protein. So those are your 3 macros that you need to worry about to get started. So hopefully this wasn't super confusing. I try to explain it the best that I can. Sometimes it doesn't come out that way. But I hope this was a little easy for you to understand. So I get this question a lot. So anyways, happy hump day. Talk to you guys later. Deuces.